You're listening to Ridecast, the podcast of the Widow Sons Ridings Chapter. Any opinions expressed in this episode do not represent those of the Widow Sons Masonic Bikers Association UK and Ireland. You can find us on Facebook at Widow Sons-Ridings Chapter, Instagram at Widow Sons_Ridings Chapter, at our website ridings.wsmba.uk, and you can contact the show directly by emailing ridecast@hotmail.com. Right, that's the housekeeping over and done with. Kickstands up, on with the show. Hello, and welcome to Ridecast Season 1, Episode 10, and it's our season finale episode and also our Christmas special. So we've got a special episode lined up for you today. This is Yakka, your usual host, and with me, my usual co-host, I've got Gremlin.
Good evening, everybody. It is pantomime night, and I'm with my two ugly sisters, Pigpen and Yakka.
And we've got Pigpen. Hello, Pigpen.
Oh, hello.
How's it going, guys? Right.
Can I ask a question? You say season finale. Is this when somebody gets murdered?
Someone's going to die this episode, yeah. We're going to knock one of the lead characters off.
Well, I've listened to some of the reviews, and they think we die every night on this show.
Oh! Yeah, nice one. Right, before we actually start the show, I've got a little bit more housekeeping to do. First of all, a correctione from Badger. He's threatened to litigate if we don't tell people that it's not the 800 Triumph Tiger that he's got, it's a 1200. So there you go, Badger. No need to call the lawyers. It's a Triumph Tiger 1200. Oh, yes, I'm contractually obliged to tell you all that there is a new national Twitter account, a new Widow Sons national Twitter account that they've just recently set up. And I don't use Twitter myself, so I'm not sure how it works, but it's at official_WSMBA. So if you're a Twitter user, go and check out the new national Twitter account. That's exciting. Yep. And there's one more thing we need to follow up from last month. Pigpen, you may remember telling us to come back to this. I can't remember the name of the person that emailed us, but Gremlin, this is for you. Have you watched The World's Fastest Indian yet?
No.
You still haven't watched it?
No.
Okay,
I wasn't quick enough.
You were going to watch it on the plane. You said
I know, but I fell asleep. You fell asleep
on the plane. Okay.
I did.
So that's another one to come back to in season 2 then, I guess, next year. See if you've seen it then. You've got no excuses over the Christmas holidays. Get it watched. Okay, so into today's show then. This month, we actually have something special going on. We have our first guests on the show, the first Ridecast guests. So let me introduce our first guest. You will have heard us talking about him for months. Go ahead, Gremlin.
I was going to say, we've done a lot of barrel scraping to come up with these two.
Now, you will have heard us talking about our first guest quite a lot. His name comes up quite often.
Yeah, Knob.
It's brother House MD. Hello, House.
Hey.
Thank you. House is our resident medic, and he's been riding with us for the last, year and a half, 2 years, something like that. And we also have our second guest is our chapter member, Brother Diesel. Hello, Diesel.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
You'll have heard us talking about Diesel as well. So I just want to have a little chat with these two guests so that we can find out a little bit about them. To start in with you, House, what was your first bike that you owned after passing your test, first proper big bike?
My first?
Motorbike. You know, it's about motorbikes,
right.
This show.
Listen. Right, let's talk about motorbike. My first motorbike was my Harley Davidson Sportster 48.
Oh, never mind.
Which is actually very good. Having said that, though, because I'm a new rider, really, I became a rider because I wanted a Harley since I was very young.
That's what we like to hear.
And basically, I grew up in
delusional
in a country like in El Salvador that I wasn't allowed to have a motorbike, and because it is considered very dangerous in my country, and I didn't have the money to buy it, and then I couldn't really afford it. So I grew up with that, but I always liked Harleys, wherever I saw them. And then I went to Mexico to study. And when I was in Mexico, I used to see the Harleys passing by, and I used to love that. And I always wanted one. So when I moved from Mexico to England, I kept the same trait. I love them. And eventually, after family, etc., I decided one day, and that one day was 3 years ago, I decided that I was going to get my license, and I was going to buy a motorcycle.
Well done. We've only got 3 hours of the show left. Can you talk us through the next 3 years, please?
So the answer to that question was a Harley Davidson.
Yes.
Excellent. Right.
So, the next question I want to ask you, House, is what was your worst bike? And I'm guessing it's probably coincidentally
The same Harley Davidson.
So, no, I haven't had a worse bike.
Hooray!
Oh, well, that's good. That's good to say. To be fair, I haven't either. I've loved all my bikes. But anyway, right, Diesel, moving on to you. First bike, please. Your first proper bike after passing your test.
Okay. I mean, so what I consider my first bike, I know it was technically a moped. It was an Aprilia SR50, so 50cc, but at that time as a teenager it was pretty cool because one of the few was liquid cooled, disc brake, so it was very cool at that time.
But what about a proper big bike though? You know, you
proper
passed your
big
test.
bike. After I passed my test, I lived again with bigger twist and go until I got a Kawasaki ZRX 1100. So
right.
I got
big jump. And what was your worst bike?
Well, I loved all of them, but just because that Kawasaki was a bit unlucky, it didn't serve me well, because when I bought it like in May, then you spend all the summer at the mechanic to have it back in November when I crashed it.
Okay.
So it didn't. Yes.
Oh,
so it the bike. It wasn't very lucky. But the
so
worst
that was your first and your worst.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it was cursed. Who knows?
Yeah. Possibly.
Let's move on to news then. Since we last recorded 4 weeks ago, what have we been up to? And I know it's slim pickings because the weather's turned. It's the off season. No one's riding motorcycles.
Well,
apart from Diesel.
Diesel been riding.
Yeah.
Have you thawed out yet, Diesel?
I don't know. I had a little. I went a bit out today in a bit chilly North Yorkshire. We went up to Leyburn.
Yep.
Yeah, Leyburn, and pretty icy at some point. In fact, it was enough. Then turn back and go back home.
Yeah. 2.5 degrees your thermometer was showing, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the morning. Then it raised a bit around 5. But then when we were in Leyburn, it was a half degree.
Oh dear.
Whoa, cold. No fun.
We've got a message just come through. Is that really a chap called Diesel, or is it Giovanni from Strictly on the line? And was he out with Rose? Was Rose on the back of his bike today? And that's come through from a very disgruntled John Waite, who came second.
What else have we been doing, guys? A little reminder for you. We patched in Pete.
Brother Pete is our final patching in of 2021. And Brother Pete started riding with us in May?
Yep, something like that. May, June.
Yeah, just as lockdown finished, he started to come out with us and completed all of his necessary prerequisites to become a member.
He's got a ZZR 14, is it?
Yep.
It's pea green.
So, Gremlin, go ahead. Tell us exactly what happened on that night.
Well, Brother Peter, we had arranged to have our Christmas party at the Midland Hotel in Bradford. And in the Midland Hotel, in the basement, there is a Masonic temple. So we were given the keys and the passcode to get into the temple itself. And we did the patching in ceremony down there before our Christmas party. So welcome, Brother Peter, who now has the wonderful riding name of Brasso.
Brother Brasso. Welcome.
Congratulations, Brasso.
Yay. And the Christmas party on the same night, Pigpen.
Yeah, it was a good night altogether, really, wasn't it? Just one thing on Peter. was one of the prerequisites, was that being able to pick your bike up when you drop it?
That's right. Yeah. You've reminded me. While we had everyone down in that lodge room, I got the chapter members all together before we did the ceremony, and we recorded this while we were down there for all the listeners. Merry Christmas from the Ridecast chapter! Now, that was a very difficult recording, if you recall, because Gremlin kept talking over the top of it, and then Kenny kept talking over the top of it. But we finally got that recording done.
You kept going quiet. You kept talking the countdown, then it went quiet.
Yeah, that's what professionals do when they do countdowns to recordings.
Yeah, but I didn't know, did I?
You've got to leave room for the scissors.
You just thought he couldn't count from 5 to 1.
Yeah, it went quiet at 3, so I thought I'd join in, just say 3, 2, 1.
So yeah, so that was the chapter wishing everyone a Merry Christmas, and then we moved back upstairs to the bar, and that's when the booze started flowing, and we eventually got called into the dining room. It was quite a nice dining room, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't too big. So yeah, it was quite.
We had a disco. We had nice table settings. The food. What do you think of the food, guys?
Pudding was nice.
No, the starter was okay. The main was pretty
average,
pretty poor. Yeah,
it was hotel food. I thought.
Yeah,
all hotels seem to have that sort of. Yeah,
rock hard vegetables.
Yeah, they'd been out and picked them.
Yeah,
put them on the plate. Yeah, it was just what it was.
There's some distractions going on at one of the tables behind us. This poor lady, she'd obviously picked a dress that was far too big from her, and she kept falling out of it. I don't know if anybody else happened to see that.
Who was that? Was it one of our people or one of the other tables? Oh yeah, because there was a table full of ladies, wasn't there? Some works outing or something. But yeah, we had a good evening, and we did a bit of dancing afterwards, and then headed up.
Did you glide on the dance floor?
I had a little bit of a dance, but I'm not much of a dancer, me. I get out of breath in about 30 seconds worth of dancing. So I noticed your wife tested the splits on the dance floor, though. We got
that was an accident. I think she slipped.
and then she fell.
And then Badger's wife,
Pauline, did the same thing. She did full splits.
And then she threw Tess on top of her. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, they were doing the old dirty dancing routine and lost their balance and ended up rolling around on the dance floor, didn't they? Yeah. So anyway, so it was a good night. It was nice to get everyone together. We had about 30 odd of us there. House, you were booked in. You didn't make it.
No, I couldn't. I had to work that day.
Can everybody put their hand up who missed him?
You missed him. Oh, we all missed him.
No, I had to work at the last minute, so I couldn't really say no. And but, I know you had a good time, guys, and
we did.
Yeah, Diesel, you were there. What was your score?
I was there. Very nice hotel.
Did you stop over these?
No, we drove back the same night.
Right.
Since the music wasn't exactly picking up the mood, we just okay.
What were you wanting? Opera?
No, it just
Italian opera.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you need something more dramatic to move your heart.
Well, every time they put our requests on, the dance floor filled, and every time they put the requests on from the ladies on the other tables, the dance floor emptied. But I think out of everyone in this on the show tonight, I think I was the only one that stayed. Me and Vicky stayed at the hotel. We had a lovely big executive suite, and the breakfasts were quite good the next morning. There was a few of us, obviously, from the chapter that stayed. It was nice to see everyone for breakfast, and then we headed home. But
fantastic.
After missing out on the Christmas party last year, it was nice to make the effort and get together. And most of us wore our cuts. A few of you didn't. There was a few people that were too dressed up too snazzy for cuts, but I wore my cut all night. So
I wore mine in the patching in ceremony.
Yeah.
No, we do. We have fun.
Yeah.
Right, moving on. Come on, next section. What are we doing?
No, well, I wondered if you wanted to just mention your little planned trip for next year, Gremlin.
Yes. I threw it out there. This year, we've obviously dipped our toes in the water by having a couple of chapter trips, which were in this country. Went down to London for a weekend. As you know, there was the Ace Cafe and the Grand Lodge trip. Then the second trip was up to Rosslyn Chapel near Edinburgh. So I've thought a bit further afield for next year. We thought about doing the NC 500, but with the way that things are going with staycations, as people are calling it in the UK, that NC 500 got absolutely crowded out this year.
Yeah.
So a thought was, let's head over the waters and go to Germany.
So are we dropping the NC 500 altogether?
Don't know. Contacted Cappy, because Cappy, it was ex-army, based over in Germany, I believe, but he goes over to Germany every year on his bike, and he knows lots of routes around there. So there's a thought that the first week of September, but we may change the dates, we will be heading to Germany for 7 days. And Cappy already has sorted out the route. He sorted out the hotels. The only thing that people have to get their head around is the bloody cost of the ferry getting over there and back. And I was talking to somebody yesterday who goes over to Germany. He said, yep, he said, that is the only thing, the cost of the ferry. But he said, there's no other way to do it. You know, if you head down to Folkestone and go on the Eurostar, it works out because of hotels and how long it takes to get there, pretty much the same. So we've just got to think about it. What
sort of ballpark figure are we looking at for costs of, you know, traveling and hotels?
We've sorted out that the ferry itself is 300 and something pounds. That's both ways. That's a cabin and the bikes. The hotels, Cappy's got prices about 70. I don't know if it was euros or pounds, but something like for a single is 70, for a double is 100. So you start to add we reckon, Pigpen and I were talking about it, for the trip will be about £1,500 in total for the whole week is what we're reckoning.
Wow. It's not a cheap getaway.
No, it isn't, but we're away for a week. There's an appetite to do it. If we could look at reducing the cost, but then it depends where you're going to stay. But that was taking into account fuel and food and everything like that. Now, subsequently found out, reading Cappy's messages, that does include breakfast. So there's a bit of a saving there, but we've got to get our head around it. But there is an appetite to do it. And I think...
Well, if it's next September, it gives plenty of time for people to...
It does.
Squirrel some money away. Because, I mean, petrol costs on top of that as well.
No, that's what we had as included.
Oh, you've already included the price of petrol. Right,
okay. And if you're going in your VTX, it's about $4,500.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll have a BMW by then, but we'll just see how it goes.
Oh, you're dropping something there, Yakka. You are dropping something.
The thing to bear in mind also with the NC 500 or going over to Germany in first week of September, we're going to get pretty good weather, I think, over in Europe. I don't think the thunderstorms will have started too much, but it's the unpredictability. Do we want to be riding for 5 days in the bloody rain around Scotland? That's the only thing I've got to think about as well.
Yeah.
And it would be 5 days, 5-6 days, wouldn't it? By the time we got there, do the tour around and then coming back, it's going to be 5-6 days. So the only difference between doing that is the cost of getting there, which is the ferry journey. So that's why we thought.
Well, certainly something to chew over during the sort of Christmas break. And like I say, we've got plenty of time, haven't we?
Exactly. So that's the thought for the chapter, a big chapter trip next time.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. This is the next segment. We've got the Big Fat Ridecast Quiz of the Year, and we're going to do a quiz now on things that have been subjects during our Ridecast episode. So if you are a Ridecast listener, you might be able to get the answers to some of these questions. We're going to divide the hosts and guests into two teams. We're going to have on team number one, Gremlin and the House, because they're the Harley riders.
Handsome boys.
Yeah, we're going to call them the Harley boys.
We've got the handsome boys and the ugly sisters.
So we got Harley boys and
Nancy boys.
We got Pigpen and Diesel. And Pigpen and Diesel, what did you want as your team name? Was it the A-team?
Oh, we're just the best. Yeah. I would like it. Yeah. As long as it ain't connected to a Harley.
Okay,
You've got the bikers. We've got bikers and wannabes, haven't we?
Okay, so let's start the quiz. It's the Big Fat Ridecast Quiz of the Year. Welcome to the quiz, everyone. Stop that. Right, okay, so we're going to go question number one, round one, question number one, to Pigpen's team, the A-team, the best, whatever they want to call themselves. Right, so this is going to go, first of all, to Diesel. Question number one, Riding's chapter members were subjected to a deluge of rain during a few of their rides this year. but what soaked them on their trip to London?
The return from London.
Oh, no, I'm going to have to pass it across to House MD. What soaked the Ridings chapter on their trip to London?
Where the fountains. Yeah, that was lovely.
Yeah, it was the fountains. Where were the fountains, House?
They were near the Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, Wembley Park, weren't they?
In that park.
And I remember you coming out of that those fountains and going, class, man, class.
No, I thought it was fantastic, really. I mean, watching Pigpen was the highlight, but that was something, you know, completely unexpected. That was very good.
Brilliant.
It wasn't the best idea I've ever had, was it?
No. But it was nice.
It was very funny.
Okay, right. Let's move on to question 2. So this is over to Gremlins team now to be able to storm ahead. Right then, question number 2. Which modification to one of Gremlin's Harleys caused Pigpen to suggest the bike looked like a wheelbarrow?
Oh, they were the Bassini fishtail pipes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. Okay.
I've never forgiven him for that comment.
Looked like a wheelbarrow full of.
A very rude man.
Number 3 then, back to you, Diesel. At the beginning of nearly every episode, Gremlin declares that he is live from where?
The Kremlin. Gremlin from the Kremlin.
Yeah, well done. It's live Kremlin, live from the Kremlin. Right, we're doing good here. Right, this is question number 4, the last question of this round, and it's back to House. House, during the course of season 1, one of the Ridecast hosts developed a fan club. Name that fan club.
Oh, that is Pigpen. Pigpen's fans club, but I don't know.
No, we're going to have to offer it across. We're offering it across to Diesel. Diesel, do you know what the fan club was called?
Pigpen Pen Pal.
I think we're going to have to give him
We can give him that.
Yeah, Pigpen Pals.
Woo!
Well done, Diesel. You've evened the scores out there. The Harley boys stormed into the lead, but Diesel pulls them back in. Okay, that's the end of the first round, and we'll just put one of these in just for effect. Right, okay, so we're into round 2 now. And we are asking Pigpen this time, I believe, aren't we? We're back to Pigpen. Number 5, Diesel. During the Big Ride charity escort that took us to the Angel of the North, why was Pigpen riding side saddle?
He has his hip broken.
No, I'm afraid I'm going to have to offer that across the House. House?
Because he broke his coccyx.
Yes, that's it. Right, 2 points to... Right, across again now to the other team, to the Harley boys. Question number 6. Ready for this, House?
Yeah.
At the end of every episode, Gremlin and Pigpen sign off in the fashion of a famous TV duo. What do they say, and which duo?
I can't remember what they said, but the 2 Ronnies say. The 2 Ronnies.
I'm afraid that's an incomplete answer. I'm going to offer it across to Diesel. Diesel, what do they say, and what is the famous duo?
No idea.
No idea. Back to Gremlin for 1 point.
I'll let House have a. Has he managed to think about it?
This is for 1 point now.
But okay, it is probably it's goodbye from him and it's goodbye from me.
Yeah, and the two ones. Yeah, well done.
Oh, was that because somebody just texted it to you?
No, I did not. I did not text. There was no texting. I just sent him a private message on this group.
Yeah.
Oh, that's no cheating.
No. I have my phone off and I don't have, to be honest, how you put the messages here? Do you?
Mm.
You?
Oh, he protested too much.
So who's are we on now? Whose turn is it? I think it's
Pigpen's.
Back to Pigpen, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the greatest bikers ever team, whatever they're called. Number 7. You ready for this, Diesel?
Mm-hmm.
Why did the ladies who ran the China stall at the Eldwick Gala dislike the widow's sons?
Because you were revving the bikes all the day. It was trembling all the China during the day.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, they weren't very happy with this, were they, Gremlin?
Even a bit of the old Gremlin charm didn't help too much, did it?
No, they
made it worse.
They weren't very happy. Right, okay, so back across to the Harley boys. Number 8. Here we go. House. What prohibited activity did the Ridings chapter perform in Roslyn Chapel this year? Keep your answers clean. Keep your answers clean, please.
Yes. We basically took a group photo inside the chapel, which is not allowed.
Yeah, well done. We took some photography inside Roslyn Chapel.
Can I just say, I just hope nobody from Roslyn Chapel's listening to this.
Well, it's in our post on Facebook, so
Otherwise we might get banned from live.
We talked about it in the previous episode anyway. So
Okay, we did get sort of permission off the.
Yeah, we did. The curators let us come in and take a photo. When they found out we were Freemasons, they said it was okay.
Yeah.
And we didn't take it actually inside. We were just in the foyer anyway. Right, okay, we're on to round 3. This is the final round. This is where the questions get considerably harder now. So you might find that the hosts might be answering these questions rather than the guests. But we're going to go to Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9. In the movie motorcycle segment in episode 4, which were the 3 bikes that featured that were also owned by chapter members? So we've got the movie motorcycle segment in episode 4. Out of all the bikes we mentioned in all the different movies, 3 of them were owned by chapter members. And I want to know, what were those 3 bikes owned by chapter members?
So one for sure is the Vincent the Black Shadow.
Right, moving across to House. House, do you remember the 3 bikes that were owned by chapter members?
I remember one. Can I answer?
Yes.
If you want,
Right.
but if you give them away and you don't know all 3, you're making it easier for Pigpen. Pigpen knows them anyway, I reckon.
He doesn't.
Yeah, no. No. Hey, Gremlin, I only know one. Can I?
Yeah, go on.
It's basically the BMW.
Hold on. We've got to let this countdown go. Right, go ahead.
It's the BMW that
James Bond has. Yeah, the
has.
Scott.
That it was.
Yeah.
It was.
You can't tell him the answer, Gremlin.
He answered.
It was.
Yeah,
It
you
featured
told me
in
the
the. It was. It featured in a James Bond film, and 2 Hours has that bike.
Okay. That's an
BMW.
incomplete answer, but a very, very good attempt. Very good attempt. Right. Pigpen, for the point. 3 bikes, please. Gremlin's going to get him if you don't.
Oh, now I'm struggling now and I can't think. That's the only one I damn well remembered was 2 Hours BM. It was the movie bikes, wasn't it? We did.
Yeah.
The clue was in the question.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what else there was.
Thickety, oi, 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 come on.
I can't think. Not a clue.
No, okay, over to Gremlin then. Over to
How
Gremlin.
about, I had 2 of them. XT250, XT500. One from Rambo, one from James Bond for your eyes only.
1 point for Gremlins team. Well done, well done. I told you they were a bit harder on this round, didn't I? Okay, now this time it's definitely the Harley boys. I haven't made a mistake, have I? So this is to House. Question number 10. Oh, this is a hard one. This is a hard one. Right, House, what was the name of the Italian mentioned in episodes 2 and 4 who designed the Ducati 916 and the MV Augusta F4? So we're looking for the name of an Italian designer. It's a toughie, isn't it? It is a toughie.
Yeah, it is a tough. Yeah.
Don't you shout it out, Gremlin.
I don't know.
No.
He's just going to shout out Giovanni or something, isn't he?
Yeah.
No.
No, right, moving across to Diesel. Diesel, do you know the name of the Italian designer responsible for the Ducati?
I think Google's just told him.
Tamburini.
First name?
Bang my tamborini.
I think we'll have to give Diesel.
I'm going to say, I think that's
1 point.
I think
1 point
being
for
the opposite
Tamburini.
team, I think he needs 2 points for that one.
Yeah, you think 2 points for Tamburini?
I do.
Okay, 2 points for Tamburini. Does
If
anyone know the first name?
Mr. Tamborini, would have got certainly 2 full points.
Does anyone happen to know the first name?
Massimo.
Tamburini. Yeah, well done.
Well
Big
done.
Pen, well done. Okay, next question. So this is back to Pigpen's team, Pigpen and Diesel. Number 11. So listen up, Diesel. In the Evil Intentions episode, what was the name of Evel Knievel's cell neighbor? He had a neighbor in the cell next door to him. What was that cell neighbor's name?
So it was.
Have a think about it. Take your time.
Something like evil and awful. Something. I don't remember the name, but I thought it was something like Evil Knievel and awful something.
I can't give him a point for that. It's close, but you need the second half.
He does.
House, do you know the second half of that name?
Pigpen's on the bloody internet looking. Get away
Don't
from
be
move
cheating.
away.
Don't be cheating.
Yeah, he is in the internet. No.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No. Okay, back to you, Pigpen.
Can't remember.
No.
I've got it.
Gremlin.
No.
Awful canawful.
Awful canawful. Oh dear. Right.
His other cellmate was Mr. Big, wasn't it?
Mr. Big. Right, okay, final question then in the last round, last round, and this is back to Gremlin's team, Gremlin and House. Question number 12. In our Racing Royalty episode, which 3 motorcycle champions did we discuss? This is for House. The 3 motorcycle racing champions that we discussed in the Racing Royalty episode. Slightly difficult question, so we'll give you a few seconds to have a think about it. I'm sure that the hosts here, Gremlin and Pigpen, are probably struggling a little bit with this themselves.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
House, any ideas?
One was. I can mention one.
Yeah, go for it. Go for one.
One was Cal 40.
No, I'm afraid not. That was a separate episode. Right, over to Diesel. What were the 3 racers that we discussed?
No. The racers. No.
Barry Sheen. Barry Sheen.
Barry Sheen is one.
Then it wasn't Guy Martin, no, but you mentioned some point.
Yes. Yeah.
And Barry Sheen, and
What was that last one you said?
Don't you cheat. Don't you cheat, Big Ben.
I couldn't quite hear what he said. I thought he said one.
No, he said, what did you
I'm
say,
sure
Diesel?
Who was the second one?
Barry Sheen.
Yeah. Then
Guy
he said
Martin.
another one.
No, he didn't. He said Guy Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
He
Right,
needs
okay.
3.
We're going to go back across.
He hasn't got to third yet.
Yeah, because he ran out of
Out
time.
of time, right?
Shall we go for it? Shall we slap this right and punch this in Pigpen's face? Was it Joey Dunlop?
Yay! Okay, that's the end of the show. Let me just add up the scores. Ooh, it's very interesting, very close. Ladies and gentlemen.
Close. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen.
If it was a boxing match, it would have been stopped by the referee.
Pigpen and Diesel scored a total of 8 points. But this year's Ridecast Big Fat Quiz of the Year with 10 points.
10 points.
10 points. Gremlin and House.
Well, we've got to let them win at something, haven't we? It'll never be on the bikes, the taste, or the riding skills.
They're going to catch in the bike. They're going to catch out in the bike.
We'll just let them have something.
Okay, guys, it's time that we move ourselves across into
Email Corner.
And it's time for listeners' emails and questions and messages. So, who wants to start us off this month?
Go on, I'll start.
Go ahead.
As I'm champion, right, here we go. Right, first question from Email Corner. Dear Email Corner. I think the guy's got a stutter. You guys touched on Mad Sunday at the Isle of Man TT, but you didn't actually explain why it is. So what happens on Mad Sunday? And this is from Sicilian Fraternity from Brother John. P.S. I think the Ridecast chapter should have a weekend trip to the Isle of Man. Is there a Widow's Son chapter over there?
Lots of questions there. Good idea. I think actually maybe we should consider Isle of Man instead of Germany. It might be cheaper. Might be cheaper.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but it's not going to take 5 days to get round it, is it?
No.
And I've heard the Airbag Vests aren't as good.
Gremlin, I don't know if you might be able to correct me here, but I don't think they do have a Widow Sons chapter out there, do they?
Not a specific Widow Sons chapter. I think the nearest one will be one of the Lancashire chapters that's probably
Northwest, maybe, or
yeah, it will be. No, anyway, let's speak to somebody who was actually raced on a Mad Sunday. Over to you, Pigpen.
What is Mad Sunday, Pigpen?
It's lunatics. It's all the lads who think they're racers decide to go around Isle of Man because the circuit is closed off to general population in vehicles, so it's bikes all headed in the same direction. You hope occasionally there's an odd German going the other way, but
is this only during the TT fortnight?
Yeah,
right. Okay.
Yeah, it's just on that day, and basically it's the full race circuit, open to go around and do what you like on it.
Now, are there many accidents on it?
You tend to spend a lot of time under red flags, yeah.
Because of accidents.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me if they want at least one death, if not two,
on Mad Sunday
every year.
Wow.
Yeah, every year.
And have you raced it?
I've been on Mad Sunday a few times, and it is. You need to be.
You can literally go flat out though. I mean, if you've got a higher you're flat out, aren't you?
Yeah, if you can handle the course and do it, then yeah, you're 200 mile an hour.
But you're going to come across people that are riding half as fast as you are, and that's where the real danger.
You need to be away. You need to be at the beginning. If you're halfway in the crowd, you're just meeting mobile chicanes everywhere.
Yeah.
It is a scary day.
I'll bet.
Is it?
I'll bet. What about you guys? The guests. Have you any experience of this? Any knowledge of this Mad Sunday? Diesel?
No, I've never been there.
Have you ever been to the Isle of Man?
No, not yet. So
no, me neither. Okay, Pigpen, you have an email for us?
No. Thank you, John. Thank you for your question, John.
Yeah, thank you, Brother John. That's very kind of you to get in touch.
First one here. Dear Pigpen, this might be a Freemasonry 101 question, so excuse my ignorance. But what is the difference between a Mason and a Provincial Mason, and that's from Jenny. I think if you want to really bring it down to very basicness, it's time served.
Yeah, that's a.
Shall we ask somebody who is actually a provincial officer? Do we have any on this?
Do we have to?
Do we have any that are on here?
I'd rather not, because that's just sort of. I think he got his honours because his brother's grand office, and I think they had to sort of give him something. So you know,
Gremlin's been a provincial officer for a lot of years. Haven't
A few years, yeah. Well, Jenny, what normally happens is in Freemasonry, you have a progressive ladder where you start the lodge as a lowly steward and you work your way through to become worshipful master of your lodge. Once you're the worshipful master of the lodge, normally 7 years after that time frame, as long as you are still an active member of the lodge, you are put forward to receive provincial honours. Now, there's certain dispensations if somebody has been particularly good in their lodge, whether it's to do with charity or certain things that they've done, that they can become a provincial officer without going through the chair. So those are the two ways that you become a provincial officer.
that is quite rare, though.
Yeah, what's the difference in the regalia, Gremlin?
Normal standard Master Masons is a nice baby light blue, as Pigpen likes to call it, and the provincial officers have a lovely royal blue. Maybe.
Yeah, a dark blue with a bit of gold and gold trimmings around the edge. Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. Thank you.
I've only met one guy who was provincial but didn't go through the chair.
Yeah, I've met a couple.
Right, I'm going to say it's
rare. It's rare.
Very
It
rare,
is a rarity, is that?
Yeah.
So thank you for that question, Jenny. Right, I've got one here, and this is something that I think we can put to the guests as well, to Diesel and House. This one says, "Dear Ridecast, as I'm a relatively new rider, I would like to ask the following. Yakka, what helmet do you have, and why did you choose that one? And would you buy from eBay? Pigpen, what jacket do you have, and do you have a different one for summer and winter? And Gremlin, what boots do you have? I love the podcast. Keep up the good work. Best wishes, James." So, starting with me then, and anyone can answer this. What helmet do I have, and why did I choose that one? I'm not a snob when it comes to bike gear. I just buy affordable gear. It's not like I'm riding race bikes on a track. So as long as they're Department of Transport approved and legal in this country, I know I've got the protection I need. I'm not riding at high speeds anymore. So I have a helmet that's made by a company called Black. It has an internal visor, a seatbelt fastener, and the front, I don't know, I forget what these are called, but they have the front that lifts up. What are those type of helmets called?
They are modular.
Modular, thank you. Modular helmet. So the whole front of the helmet lifts up on a button so that you can go into garages without taking your crash helmet off, and it has the internal sun visor. And and it's a good helmet. It's reasonably lightweight. Obviously has passed all the legal requirements for use in Great Britain, and it's quite comfy and good soundproofing.
Yeah. Now, I know somebody who's just gone out and bought themselves a brand new helmet this week. He's been sleeping in it since he got it. Haven't you, House?
Well, okay. Helmets are a very particular thing, actually. There are people who take it extremely serious, and there are people who take it. No, actually, I'm in the middle, really. The helmet I bought is from a company in London called Hidden, and it's the owners of that place had experience with a French company called Ruby. And they brought the technology to here, and they produce some helmets that are particularly nice to me. I brought an open face helmet that I always wanted, and I love it. It's very light, very nice, very well made, particularly well made, and I love it. Now, in all places that you hear safety first, etc., you use two helmets, two makes, RI and Shoei. Those are the ones they always mention. I'm in the middle of it, to be honest. I am with Yakka with that.
Yeah, the only thing that I would add to it is I saw a program where they're not rogue traders as such, but it's about people buying cheap helmets from places like Amazon and eBay, where they're told the brand new brand, pretty brands like Shoei or whoever, and they're at real reduced prices. These are knockoff helmets, and they put them through the pressure tests. and they just absolutely shattered. So make sure whatever helmet you buy, it is from a reputable dealer.
Yeah. No eBay, basically.
Well, no, that's
No eBay, meaning eBay, if you buy it from a company in eBay,
Yeah.
it's fine. But it has to come from a company.
Yeah.
yeah. There are some major bike clothing suppliers that sell on eBay.
No, you're right. I phrased it wrongly. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, if it's too good to be true,
It
there is
probably
something
usually
wrong.
is.
Yeah.
So the next
Okay,
question
so
was,
the next question was Pigpen. What jacket do you have, and do you have a different one for summer and winter?
I have I think it's an Alpine. Is my jacket?
Posh guy with the Alpine style jacket.
Yeah, I bought it because it's a bit of both, really. It has a fleecy liner that you can zip into it for winter and sort of zip out when it comes to summer. But when it gets to real nice summer, I usually have I just sort of wear my cut, and I've got a shirt that's got armor padding in the shoulders, elbow, and back. So it's like a check shirt, because Gremlin knows how much I like my check shirts.
Yeah,
you're wearing one tonight, are you?
I am sporting a little checked number.
Pigpen, is the fabric, you know, is it anti-tear? Does it have any form of resistance in an accident, or is it purely for the armor?
It says it's got Kevlar
right. Okay.
sewn in somehow. I don't know if I'd like to try it, but
no.
But yeah, it's got elbow protection. It's got back protectors in it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a summer jacket that's like netting with body armor, very lightweight, very cool in the summer, and then I have a full-on winter jacket, so I go between the two. But what about the guests? What do you do?
Well, Diesel's a proper.
Yeah,
he's a proper hard case, hardcore rider. He's been out today, which is 0 degrees. So
in just his speedos.
Yeah, he's been out in his trunks. He don't mess
yeah.
No, but Diesel does wear a full one-piece race gear, doesn't he? One-piece race
yeah, I have two main, let's say, apparel. One is one jacket from the Risha that I could convert easily from very winter because it has a lining inside. Yeah. And then I got from as a present from my partner, now wife, color teamed leather suit. So sometimes when the weather is good, I get out with the leather.
Do you have one of those inflatable things as well, don't you?
Yeah, I look after my safety, so I have as well the airbag. I have the two actually, because in case we go in pair. I have one English that is with a strap, so there is a
pull cord, isn't it?
Yeah, pull cord attached to the bike. And then I have another one from Dainese.
Just to explain, can you just explain that in a little bit more detail for the listeners in case they don't know what we're talking about?
It's a vest. It's an airbag vest. So there is a CO2 charge, I believe, that is triggered by a cord. So the leash, the pull cord is connected to the bike. So in the unfortunate occasion, if I get pulled out of the bike, the leash get pulled, igniting the charge and inflate all the jacket, that immobilize my neck and as well protect my back and my torso.
Have you had to use it? Have you ever used it now?
No.
And that inflates at the speed of like an airbag in a car, doesn't it? It inflates instantly.
Yeah, essentially, when you pull the cord, there is a very strong spring that pierces the canister, and then immediately, boom.
Yeah.
They're not cheap, though, are they?
No, but sometimes you have to invest in your own safety.
Absolutely. No, I think it's a very good idea. One of my wife's friends, she's a horse rider, and she was telling me she'd fallen off recently, and she had one of these airbag vests, and it saved her back when she went down. So it's a very good idea.
Final part, Gremlin, of that email is directed to you. It says, "What boots do you have?" And then it goes on to saying, "I love the podcast." So, what boots do you have?
Right, what boots do I have? Well, here's a little story for you. On the day that I was taking my Mod 1 test, I took the bike out for a bit of a practice through all of the maneuvers I was supposed to be doing, and I slipped and the bike came down and it crushed my foot and broke it in 3 places. Now, I was only wearing soft boots, soft leather boots. And after that, I made a very conscious decision of buying specialist motorbike boots that have protective toe caps, they're protective heels, also shins as well if they're proper big boots. So I got some Daytona boots. I've also invested in some Harley Davidson boots, which have got the same protection in. So from that point of view, learning the hard way of breaking bones made me invest in proper boots or shoes.
The Harley Davidson ones, the snakeskin ones.
No.
They're a bit like the bike, aren't they? All show and slow. No?
All the gear, no idea.
All the gear and no idea. Yeah, so that's long and short of it. Get some boots with some protection on your toes because it bloody hurts when a bike falls on it and crushes your foot.
So thank you for that, James.
You and your wife really are sort of walking adverts for Harley, aren't you? When you get all your kit on, the jackets, the trousers, the boots, the gloves, the helmets.
They're Harley
Teddy bear.
Davidson through and through, aren't they? Oh my
They're just,
God.
yeah, both slow.
If you cut him in half, he's like a stick of rock. It says Harley Davidson around his
does.
body.
I'd like to do that and see.
Cut me off.
Right, guys,
You've
let's
got a
move on.
question.
Yeah, let's move on. Thanks for that question, James. Appreciate it. No, it's actually your turn, Gremlin.
Oh, yeah. Hello, boys. It's from Deborah. Pigpen said he was a DC. I think you misheard him. Dick, I think is what he said. He said he was a DC when patching in one of your members. What is a DC? And she loves the show. Deborah, you've obviously got very good taste, apart from the person you've addressed the question to. So come on, Pigpen, what is a DC?
In our ceremony, the DC is actually a quite a lowly position. In Lodge, the DC is quite a...
And do we know what DC stands for?
It's Director of Ceremonies. But
it is indeed. He actually knows something.
In Lodge, I always think it's a very underestimated position. If it goes well, the Master did a real good night. If it goes bad, and the DC didn't, the DC didn't keep it going. I always think
the DC's in charge of the show, isn't he? In a lodge ceremony, the DC is in charge of the show. But in our chapter, Pigpen, what does the DC do?
The DC just basically takes the candidate to the two people who do the obligation and the
address to the member.
The address from the president. So it's a guide. Basically.
And a prompter, because Deborah, we do all of our ritual from memory. So, and if there happens to be a bit of a moment when we can't quite remember the words or the lines, the DC is there to prompt.
And there you have it. So thank you, Deborah.
Thank you, Deborah. Keep listening.
Pigpen, you got an email for us?
To all the Ridecast, I love the smell of two-stroke. Do you gents know why Grand Prix bikes stopped using two-stroke engines, and what is the difference between the two engines? That's from Jack, who also wishes us a Merry Christmas. Thank you very much,
Merry
Jack.
Christmas to you, Jack.
How much time have you got, Jack? Because that's a big question.
It is a big question, is that?
And I think perhaps we should to get a house to answer that one, David.
Yeah, house.
Difference between a two-stroke and a four-stroke engine.
I would rather give you the pleasure to do that.
Well, we don't want to get too technical here, do we, Pigpen? Between a two-stroke and a four-stroke. A two-stroke engine is a much simpler engine, very high revving, generally used in things like chainsaws and
motorbike engines in the
smaller motorbike engines, certainly. They don't use a valve system. They use a port system, which means that oil has to be mixed in with the petrol to lubricate the engine.
Is it normally what 5 to 1 or something? The ratio that you, or is it specific?
There are specific ratios to different engines, but what it basically means is that the lubricating oil is mixed with the petrol and is burned along with the petrol, and as a result, you get a sweet smell from the exhaust pipe that smells different to a normal engine. And that's the lovely two-stroke smell. I know what was the name of the writer? Jack, was it?
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean, Jack. The smell of a two-stroke is absolutely beautiful. I've been addicted to that smell since I was a teenager.
He's going to rehab at Christmas for it.
As far as why they stopped using them on the Grand Prix, I'm actually not too sure. Why did they stop? Was it?
It was a major moving to more ecological environmentalism,
right. Because smoky,
the lovely smell is because essentially you have uncombusted petrol and oil in the air, and that is pollution.
Okay.
I think it was mainly down to the engines were lighter, obviously, in two-strokes. You could rev faster, and they were easier to develop. So the guys who didn't have the money, so the privateers could progress harder and faster in it because the scope of tuning was easier.
So a little shout out to what's the name of that Yankee Candle? Shout out to Yankee Candle. Can you please make a two-stroke Yankee Candle, please? Because I think they'd be quite popular because we all like the smell of two-stroke oil. Well, thank you very much for that question, Jack. So the next email says, "Dear Ridecast, I read about the West Riding's promotional video that Province is producing in the Facebook post you published. Gremlin mentioned that he was not at Castle Grove in your recent episode, but I think he is mistaken. I am sure the photos from your post show that he was in fact there, clean shaven for the occasion and looking even more dashing than normal. All the best, Graham."
Well, Graham, thank you very much for that. For those of you who don't know, I actually have an identical twin brother. And
it's not identical. He's not identical. He is good looking.
He's lovely, isn't he? Lovely bloke. Really nice bloke.
He's the nice one, and it's a bit like twins.
Yeah.
We have a Danny DeVito and we have the Arnie. Well, unfortunately, we got dealt.
Gremlin is the evil twin, isn't he?
He is the Danny DeVito.
So I was on holiday in Croatia when that was filmed. My brother heads up the communications for the province. That's why he was there.
Yeah,
so
and we stuck a cut on him. Somebody took a cut off, and we threw a cut on. And it was a joke. It was a joke on Gremlin because we thought it would be funny to have Gremlin's look-alike there. So thank you, Graham. That's great.
Thank you, Graham.
Gremlin, it's over to you for your email.
It is, and I'm dreading the answers coming for this one. Dear Ridecast, since you mentioned it on the last episode, and given that it's almost that time of year when I'm a Celeb is due to start, if you had to pick one member of your chapter to do a bush tucker trial, who would you choose and why? And that's from Mark. So,
Badger.
Yeah, I don't know.
So House, the question, House, is who would we choose out of the chapter to do a bush tucker trial?
Right, okay.
And why?
I think
Gremlin. Gremlin, because
I was thinking the same. I was thinking the same. I think Gremlin will be okay for that kind of.
Why? Because you want to see me suffer and in pain.
I think a bit of kangaroo rectum would do you the world.
I'm just going to say, because there's quite a lot of penis gets eaten in the bush tucker trials.
Easy.
I think you'd be good at it. I do. I think you'd be good at that.
It's a family show. Come on now.
I don't want, but they don't eat kangaroo penis, don't they? And
they do, yeah.
False penis.
Cockroaches.
I think our Gremlin.
Yeah, it's agreed.
He could manage a whole penis.
We're voting on Gremlin. So if you could organise that for us, good listener, we'd appreciate it.
I can sort some out. Yeah, not a problem.
You've got plenty of rectums you can sort out for us.
Yeah. I can
rectum,
supply.
pink rectum.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for that one, Mark. I was dreading it, and there you go. They all want me to suffer and eat.
Right, dear Yakka, Gremlin and Pigpen. This is reference the discussion about Foggy. Yakka didn't mention the RSV Millie, which was another V-twin created to try and defeat Foggy on the Ducati 916. what are your thoughts on Aprilia's attempt, guys? And that is regards from Jason.
Yeah, the RSV Melee, completely forgot that one, didn't we? My stepson used to have one of those, so obviously a road-going version. But yeah, they were a lovely big V-twin built to directly compete with the Ducatis. What do you think? Pete Goddard, wasn't it? Pete Goddard rode the RSV in the early years. It was good, but it wasn't good enough, was it?
It wasn't. I didn't like them.
No.
A friend of mine loved them, and I had to go a few times, and I couldn't get on with it.
Oh, you've ridden one then?
Yeah, I didn't like the riding position. I felt like you were very high up. It felt very narrow and tall.
High pegs, high foot pegs, low bars.
Yeah, you just felt like you were sat very high up, and I like to be sat in the bike as part of it. I felt like I was sat on. Yeah, I felt I was sat on it.
But don't you think though that engine, it was like a freight train, wasn't it? It didn't have the Desmodromic engine like the Ducatis. It didn't have the same sound, but it was a missile. The one I had to go on was incredibly powerful.
Yeah, I wasn't into that
V-twin sports bike. What about you, Diesel? Any experience on any of the big V-twin sports bikes?
No, I mean, I own a Boxer twin, and I had before a Ducati ST, so V-twin. I loved the V-twin, but I never had a go with the Aprilia. I had my first bike was an Aprilia, but not as glamorous as the RSV Mille.
Yeah, Mille. It means 1,000, doesn't it?
Yes.
1,000, yeah. So the ST you had, Diesel, was that a Desmo engine?
Yes, was a Desmo, two valve Desmo liquid cooled.
Nice. So it had that beautiful Ducati sound to it.
Yeah. It wasn't a tingling. It wasn't tingling the clutch, because the clutch was actually closed. But once I was working on it, I removed it, I left running, and it was the classic Ducati.
Yeah. Yeah, Ducati.
Clunk. Clunk.
Two spanners being clicked together. Yeah. Okay, thank you for that message. I've got one more here, guys. This is a very quick one. It says, "Dear Yakka, I have never heard of a grifter. What make and model motorbike is that? Regards, Tom." Right, Tom, it's not a motorcycle. A grifter was
a rally.
It was a rally, yeah. It was a cycle I had when I was like 10 years old. And they were actually based on motorcycles though, weren't they? The way they designed them.
Yeah, well, the Chopper was the first one, wasn't it, that came out, and then the grifter, and then they all became the BMXs, didn't they?
That's right, before BMX, wasn't it? Yeah.
I had the bike before the grifter, because there was one called the Boxer.
Was there?
And that was the baby version of the grifter.
Yeah, that didn't have a saddle, did it? That's why you liked it.
Yeah, so thank you for that, Tom.
Do you know why it was called the Boxer? They used to jab him round the room.
Oh, dear me.
Oh, my God.
What a...
Right, well, I think we don't have any more emails, do we?
No, that's it. It's all finished.
It's all done.
Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up.
Nothing from Pigpen Pals.
Never unwrap it again.
We do have a Pigpen pal.
Oh, we do.
Hot in.
She says, "Good evening, brethren." She said,
"She's not a lady Freemason, is she?"
No, she's from Germany, from Dresden.
Oh,
I have heard the chapter is planning on invading Germany in September. She said, "I am Ursula and I'm 89. I would like to be Pigpen Pal's Pigpen, pen pal." I think I need to do that again. I would like to be Pigpen Pal's Pigpen's pen pal. There you go.
Nice.
She's Ursula. She's 89. She fits the description. She's short-sighted, hard of hearing, and
all her own teeth.
No, none of her own teeth. So she said she's going to write to you. And how good is your German, Pigpen?
It's about as good as his English.
Yeah. There we go. Ursula, we will come and knock you up. No, I think we'll come and knock on your door when we visit Dresden.
Brilliant, brilliant. Right, well, I think we ought to sign off now. So I'd like to wish all our listeners a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you in the new year for season 2 of Ridecast. I'd like to thank our guests this evening. Thank you to you, House.
Thank you, brethren.
I've got a little bit of music for you here, House.
Okay.
I don't know if you recognise this. Yeah, there you go. That's the House music.
Absolutely, yeah.
So thank you very much for being part of the show, House, and also to Diesel.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
Diesel.
for all of you to have to invite me.
So this is Yakka signing off for Ridecast. Over to you, Gremlin.
And it's a jingle jangle from him.
And it's a bit of a jingle jangle from me too.
And it's goodbye from us. See you later, guys. A quick message from all of us at Ridecast. Thanks to all our listeners for your support this year. Keep the messages rolling in, and we'll catch up with you next year in season 2.